Hello guys. So someone asked me how I set up my Bitfinex chart to look like that, because when you create a new account on Bitfinex, this is how your chart will look, and this doesn't look very good in my opinion, so I choose to actually customize it. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how I have my settings in this video, and yeah, a lot of it is personal preference, by the way, but let's get to it. So the first thing, this is a brand new account I created here, okay? And let's look at this out here, the where you can select your pairs to trade, and where you can, see your order form and your balances and stuff. This whole menu out here, I actually like to have this on the left instead of the right, okay? So what I do is I go into I click on this little icon up here in the far right corner, and I go to interface, right? Then I go to the layout here, and the trading sidebar location, I change this to right. Okay, let's see how it looks now. Yep, this is how I prefer it, because it's more comfortable for me, because it's more like trading view now when you have your watch list on the left. Okay, good. So now let's get into the actual chart here. So you right click on the chart and you select properties, and I like to change the style to candles, and the color of the candles I like to set the green candles to this green right here, which is just my preferred green, and just have the opacity max, right? And the red one, I like to take this red box here. Yep. And then the borders, I also like the borders, I just keep them green as well. Have the same green and red color as the actual bodies. And the wicks, I like to have them in a white, like that. Maybe even yeah, this looks good to me. I have the wicks white. Okay, so and I click OK. So now we've done this. So far so good, right? But that's not all. We're not even like fucking close to being finished. Okay, I go right click and click on properties again. Now I go to the scales here, right? Now do we want to change anything in here? Yeah, we want to change a little bit. We want to, there's this box here called countdown under the scales tab. I check this box because this helps in trading. You can see sort of how long until the candle expires. This is very helpful when you're trading, right? And let's see, is there anything else that I like? We don't need any of that. Yep, this looks great. Okay, now let's go on to background. Oh, what did I do here? Whoops. Whoops. There we go. Background. And the background, I changed this to the black one here. Because the darker it is, like, it's more comfortable for my eyes. And we have these grid lines here that you can see. They are very ugly, okay, when they stand out this much. So I like to actually choose this to not black, but like the dark gray here. And then I like to turn the opacity down. Okay, I still want to be able to see them, but I don't want them to be in my face as much, you know. So like that, and I do this for both of them. I don't know if you can see this, can you? Yeah. And also here I turn the opacity way down. Okay, something like this. Okay, this is yeah, this looks great for me, right? And then yeah, wait, I'll get to this later. Okay, so just never mind. Okay, so now we have this, actually this crosshair here. You can see we have this when I'm moving my crosshair on the chart, we got this sort of X form, which is this one. I like to have this in sort of a bright color. I can really see where my mouse is. Yeah, this looks great. Okay, now let's... Oh my, fuck me in the ass. What the f... Okay, I'm back, sorry. Yeah, so once you've done that, you go back to style and you click OK to save, right? So now the chart looks like this. Let's go and check out time zones. You just want to have this to your time zone, of course. Right. I want to, the chart looks very small to me. I'd like to click on this arrow here up in the right corner that says make chart taller. I like to click this a few times. Yeah, like this. This looks better in my opinion. Easier to see when you're doing the technical analysis. Okay, so now we need to add some indicators to the chart. Right. And so I click, I'm just going to show you what indicators that I use. You click indicators up here. And the first one I'm going to add is the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. Very nice indicator. And let's actually customize this now before we add any more indicators, okay? So down on the RSI tab, you click this button here, format, okay? Click this. And we don't need to change the input. I just use the basic RSI, right? So I go to style and I choose this color here, this sort of pink color. Not that one actually. Maybe I do. Let's. I choose the pink color, and I just set the opacity to max. Okay. And I like to make it a little thicker so it's easier to see. So that's perfect for me. Okay, so my RSI is gonna look like this, and that's it. Then I click OK. Now we have an RSI that's easy to see, right? Then I'm gonna add the MACD, this one right here, okay? The MACD on Bitfinex looks awful at first, and if you're gonna, you don't want to look at this, it's gonna strain your eyes if you look at it too much. So let's go and edit this one as well, okay? Go to style, and first we're gonna change this histogram here. So on this drop down menu where it says histogram, I actually changed this to columns, okay? So it looks like this. It's just easier for me to see. And instead of having it in red, I like to have it in green. And I just sort of change the opacity until to my liking. So yeah, like that. That is perfect for me. Okay, and then the MACD line is the color is fine. I just changed the opacity so it's easy to see. And yeah, and then the signal line as well, I put the opacity to the max, okay? Yeah, this looks great. So I click OK, and now we have the MACD done. Now I'm gonna put on some EMAs, okay? Because EMAs are great. Like I have an EMA, and I like to put on let's put on 4 EMAs, the 8, the 13, the 21, and the 55, okay? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, now we have 4 EMAs on the chart. Actually, I also like to put the 200 EMA on as well, so here we go, 5 EMAs on the chart, right? So let's just start from the top and change the values, okay? Let's take the first EMA, go to style, and this is gonna be for me the 8 EMA. I like to have this, I'm just used to having this in sort of like a light green color. Like that. And I'm gonna, under inputs, I change this to 8. Bam. Okay, so that's the 8 EMA. Now let's take the 13 EMA. Change it to 13. Now you can have the EMAs you like, you know, it's just what I like. And the color for this would be the purple. Right. And just like that. Okay. Click OK. And then we have the 21 EMA. By the way, these are Fibonacci numbers, okay? These aren't just random numbers, these are Fibonacci. Okay. And I have this in orange, like that. And then the 55 EMA is gonna be yellow. That. And I actually like to change the thickness, make it a bit thicker. So it's easier to see, so I just make it 1 tick thicker. Okay, and now we have the 200 EMA at last, okay? And I have this in white, and just have it a little bit thicker than the 55 EMA. See how does this look? Yeah, I'm just gonna have it like at that thickness. That's great. Okay, so now I have my indicators on the chart that I use. Oh, one more thing, we have this volume indicator here, right? On the bottom. I want to edit this one as well. So I go format on the volume. And I just make it a bit easier to see. Even change the color if you want. Oh, that's a bit much. Yeah. A lot of this is like personal preference, guys. Just remember that, you know. Just take the colors that looks good to you, okay? Messing around with it. Yeah, okay, this looks fine, right? Just easy to see so you don't strain your eyes, remember that. Okay, so now we have the indicators that we need. On the chart, I like to actually make the, I like to sort of drag the RSI and the MACD down a little bit so they're a little more flattened out. This is just so that the price action chart will be easier to see, right? Yeah, something like that. Okay, I think yeah, okay, one more thing. You can see we have these all this stuff out here in the left corner, right? This looks very, takes up a lot of the screen, okay? And we want to get rid of that. So you right click on the chart, you go to properties, go to background, and I basically like to uncheck this one. No, I actually leave this one checked because then I can see the time frame I'm on. And the open, or the yeah, the open, the high, the low, and the close, I leave that one on as well. But the indicator titles, I actually leave these one on as well so I can quickly customize them. But I take the indicator values off these sort of numbers here. I just take them off like that. I think this makes it look a lot cleaner, right? Yeah. And I click OK. Yep. So now I actually think that my chart is optimized pretty well. Okay, so now that it looks like this, there's one more thing I want to change. Is when I go here, if I move my mouse around, there is these annoying buttons that comes up here. Right, so to get rid of these, I go, and they're useless, absolutely useless. So I right click, I go to properties, I go to background and navigation buttons. I just change this to always invisible, right? So now they won't come up when I drag my mouse around and they won't be annoying. Perfect. Alright, so I'm just thinking now, I don't think there's much more for the actual chart, okay? Now I like to have this toolbox so it's easy for me to do technical analysis and I don't have to find the tools over here. So let's do that as well, okay? So I start, I click this arrow here, it'll start from the top, okay? Trend line, click the star so it's easy to get. As well as the parallel channel. And I'm gonna show you how I have the settings for these as well. Okay. Perfect. And then let's go on to the next. I like to use the Fibonacci, the Fib retracement a lot, so I put this to my favorites as well. And also the trend-based Fib extension, like that. You can see they pop out. Great. Now let's go on to the next one. Here I have the rectangle mark on zones. I do that. And then this one, I don't have anything here. I have the Elliott impulse wave, as well as the Elliott correction wave. Bam. Okay, let's go to the next one here. I have the price range. Okay, so that's all of my most used tools that I have. And I just drag them over here so they're easy to access, right? Okay, so now I'm gonna show you how I have the settings for my drawing tools that I use to do my technical analysis. Right, so let's start with the trend line. Normal trend line, which looks like that, right? Doesn't look too bad, but I like to change the color. I just double click on it. And the line I changed to this turquoise, cyan, blue, whatever you call it. And then I click OK. This is just easier to see on the eyes, I think. Bam, let's get rid of that again. And then the parallel channel, I actually just leave this as it is. That's fine for me. But you can change this if you want. Okay, so now the Fibonacci retracement tool. Very nice tool. So I changed this quite a lot as well, actually. So I double click it. And let's take this slowly, right? So first of all, what I do is I go to this background here and I just uncheck this. I don't like having a background. I think it's unnecessary. And then the labels, these numbers here, I don't have them on the left because this is where we have a lot of chart data. So I change these to the right. There we go. And then one more thing I do with the Fibonacci retracement is I actually add another value, okay? There's this thing called the golden pocket. So, which is located like right here, below the 0.618. So what I do is, you can see, I go to the first box here that's not checked, and then it would be the 1.272, okay? So I changed the value of the 1.272 to 0.65. Okay, and then I make it visible. There you go. Now you can see it popped up here, you see? Before it was like this, and now it's like this. And then, excuse me. Oh my god. Yeah, and I changed the color of it to yellow. This is what is called the golden pocket, okay? This is where if price reaches this point, it often bounces off of it. Okay, so that's the Fib retracement tool. I click OK. And let's get rid of that again. Now for the the trend-based Fib tool. It's actually just the same. I do again. I get rid of the background. I change the labels to the right, and I add the golden pocket at 1.65, and I change it to yellow. There we go. Okay. Now we did that. Let's get rid of it again. Now for this one, the rectangle tool, this is how I mark out like resistance zones or resistance and support zones. So I like to have this in a green color, And I change the opacity so it's easier to see through. Do it on the border as well. Just so it looks something like this, okay? This is how I like to have my, so I can set up my zones, you know? But this is personal preference as well. Now for the Elliott wave tool, I don't actually change too much. You can change the degrees. This depends on the time frame you're using. I pretty much only use the minor and the minute to have the main waves and the subwaves, but you know, this is more this isn't really important right now, okay? This is more for Elliott wave. And the same with the ABC. Also just usually leave it on minor. This just looks better for me. But this is a whole nother topic really, so I don't want to get into this for now. Yeah. And then we have the price range that I actually also just leave at default. I don't even know what you can change here. Background. Yeah, this looks great. I uncheck the background now. Yep. This looks cleaner in my opinion. I haven't done that before, but that looks nice. Just the arrow now. Okay. So yeah, guys, I think that was actually it. This is how you set up the chart. Now, lastly, but most importantly, we need to save this thing, right? So basically click up here and you click save. And now you can just call it whatever you like. You click save. Now you can see it saving up here and it has saved. Okay, so now your chart is saved, and whenever you log into Bitfinex now, you're gonna have this chart. Perfect, right? Well, I hope you enjoyed, and have a great day.